Well, welcome to another episode of Great Work Day with me, Ella Bates, your skills trainer. Our podcast is all about gaining more joy and better results in the workplace. And we're discussing today how to adversity-proof yourself at work. It's my absolute pleasure to introduce you to today's guest, Kristie Stocker, who is the CEO of Kinetic Edge, a leadership coaching firm that aids professionals in enhancing profits and productivity. An award-winning speaker and a coach since 2002, she's known for empowering individuals to excel in self-leadership. Renowned companies like Bosch and Lockheed Martin recognize her expertise in nurturing goal-surpassing leaders. And outside her oh my goodness, I'm having one of those days with words too. Outside her coaching role, Kristie inspires audiences to pursue a purpose-driven life, and certainly not a perfective one with me talking today. Welcome, Kristie. I'm so happy to have you on the show.
I love these podcasts that are just like real, like, right? I mean,
wow.
We're just going to roll with it. This is going to be an amazing podcast.
Authenticity is best.
Talking about adversity, right?
Right? Straight away out of the bat. In fact, right before Kristie and I came on the podcast, was having technical challenges, and it is all about adversity. And we know that we've all had it already. We know that there's going to be more. We're going to be thrown more challenges. And we know that we just have to build resilience to it. I should know by now. I know 18 podcasts in. But doing it and being resilient really is a different game. So I appreciate that you humor me on this. But Kristie, you talk about in KristieTV.com, which you should absolutely go and take a look at if you're into self-leadership. You use a catchphrase that I love. You say that you've got to catch the curveball. I'm just going to turn this off now. I'm going to catch the curveball and you have to throw it back with gusto. What does that really mean, Kristie?
Well, I remember recording that, and I also remember throwing it back with too much gusto. I remember that clearly. But it's really a metaphor for when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. However, this is the epitome of life is going to throw you curveballs. You're going to get a whole bunch of crap that you don't want in your life. But what I encourage you to do is pick yourself up and come back even better than you were before, right? Because things are going to happen. Things are going to go downhill. People are going to do what they do. But what happens is you control your attitude toward it. You control your thoughts and your actions toward it. So if you catch that curveball and you're like, okay, this is the adversity that's hitting me, and then you come back even stronger than you did before, well, that's really the most amazing way to get over adversity and make it work to your advantage.
And I love that, Kristie. Great synopsis on, why we have to be resilient to adversity, but it's having that conscious awareness, isn't it? Of here comes another thing, and rather than being like, oh, what else now? Really going, it's okay. I can handle this. All is well. I use that phrase all the time. All is well. And really, like you say, coming back stronger than ever. But we know that in the workplace, we're going to face them. We can't control everybody. Even if you are a leader, you're still not in control of people. You're there to inspire, guide, and motivate yourself and other people. But how do you think that adversity can shape our careers?
I think, first of all, it depends on your mindset around adversity. Right. So a lot of people, when they think adversity, even if you just say the word, I do keynotes on adversity all the time. And I say, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? And most people will say strife or negativity or, all of these myriad of words that come to mind. Right. They never see it as a good thing. Now, I'm not saying adversity is fun, right? It's usually not fun to go through and you don't want to welcome it. However, at the same time, if you change your mindset around what adversity really can do, so let's say you are in the workplace and let's say your boss is being a jerk face, or you're getting a project that has an insane deadline. You just know that you don't have the resources, whatever it is. When you take that adversity and you, well, like you said, throw it back with gusto, like I had said, you can use that to advance your career. You can show the types of problems that you've overcome. You can show that you've gone through this mess and you could do it again if you had to, right? And you came out unscathed, right? Nobody's bloody.
Right.
No, I mean, unless you're in one of those careers that, but anyway, nobody's bloody. Nobody got hurt. Nobody lost a limb or anything like that. And so what happens is you now have a learning experience that you can use the next time. So if you have a project with low resources, and you somehow got through it, what could you have done differently, maybe next time, to get more resources, to work with less resources, whatever it is. So going through that can really shape your career, because sometimes life will define us not through our successes, but through our challenges. And it can be the exact
100%.
same thing through your career, especially if you're getting interviewed for a promotion. They're going to ask you, name a big challenge you got through and how'd you get through it.
Right.
That's a top interview question.
It is.
So you can come back and say, hey, I went through this mess, but this is how I was better on the other side of it, or this is how the company, kind of thrived because of it. Then that's just a feather in your cap.
Yeah, I love that. And I love the fact that you're pointing out the fact that it's not just what we can master, it's what we have been through, got over, but it's that project management key, isn't it? Okay, that happened. Wow, how could I have done that differently? What will I do next time faced with the same thing? And having that expectation that there is going to be more balls thrown at you. I remember sitting down with the CEO of Carnival Cruise Lines back in the early 2000s there, and I said to him, so what is the key thing you can tell me about leadership? And he said, it's like a game of tennis when it comes to yourself. Something comes at you, you need to start tapping into the experiences and resources that you have, or those of others, and throw the ball back and bring yourself together as a team. And that's when you call in your village with adversity. And I was like, yes, yes, yes. But you're right. And this is where, a lot, and it's trending as it should, is there's no such thing as a failure. There's just a learning experience. But the more that we learn, the more that we trip over, the more that we're going to build things to have more success in the future. I love that.
I think you stole a line from my keto, because
did
that's
I?
exactly what I say. That's exactly what I say. I say, how do you go through life without failure? Is that you see your failures as learning experiences. So you never fail, you just have learning experiences. That is a huge key to getting through adversity.
So true. And life is a game of learning, right? But do you think that society is starting to change how we view adversity? I mean, do you really believe that the perspective is changing around how we focus on change?
I don't know about that, Ella. But I coach a lot of people, and unfortunately, where I'm from in the society that I'm in, a lot of people still see failure as failure. Like, you failed, you did this wrong, it's all on you, you should be perfect. Right. So I think that people are trying to change the way, like the upper leadership, the people that are more self-aware, are trying to change the way that failure or adversity is viewed. However, I feel that if any conflict happens, if any adversity happens, people want to shield themselves from it.
Yes.
They want to run away from it. Well, of course. I mean, nobody wants to run into traffic and say, gee, maybe I'll get hit by a car. Like, nobody wants to do that. But at the same time, if something is going to happen and there's nothing you can do to stop it, a lot of people think, well, if I ignore it or run away from it, maybe it'll go away magically. And unfortunately, that's just not the way that things are handled. And the more that you run away from it, the bigger it snowballs, and the bigger it snowballs. And then pretty soon you have a massive problem on your hands. And a lot of business owners will do that. A lot of corporate leaders will do that, just kind of sweep it under the rug. We don't want to show that sales are down. We don't want to show that employees are leaving. We don't want to show that stuff. And I get it, because social media wants to show this like perfect type of look. But at the same time, that's not authentic and that's not human. And so I wish what would happen is people understand that failure is not the opposite of success. Quitting is.
Yes.
And so
yes.
You can't succeed if you quit. Now, if something you feel is just not aligning with your purpose and whatnot, yes, quit and then move to something else so you can succeed. However, failure is part of success. And so is adversity and how you handle it. So if you're going to become successful, if you want to be that amazing leader, if you want to be that high level employee, if you want to crank something out and say, yes, I did this, you're going to come into some adversity. And how you handle it is really the difference between success and quitting.
Well, beautifully said there, Kristie. I really like that analogy because, you know, it's the full transparency of leadership, whether it's self-leadership, you're talking to other people around you, or you're leading other people. It's saying this is happening and here's what we're doing about it, versus no, nothing's happening here. Look away. We've got this, trying to be perfect. And that authentic leadership, authentic business, authentic with your peers, builds the better relationships, makes people understand that you are real and human, like you said before. Is humanistic business is everything. I remember there was a case study done on a pizza company, and I don't remember the name of it, where people started saying all over social media that their tomato sauce was absolutely horrible, hated it, and lots of people are jumping on the bandwagon going, yeah, I really hate it too. And I'm not going to name the pizza company because I have just remembered which one it was, but they came out of the woodwork and said, you know what, people are hating it, we messed up, we're going to perfect this, watch this space. And they did, and they came and they showed all this background knowledge of what they were doing to perfect the pizza sauce. They brought it back and their sales shot triple fold overnight. Awesome. Their shares are amazing. And time and time again, I refer back to this particular case study because they were just honest. Rather than saying there's nothing wrong with what we do, they went, hey, life isn't always perfect. People's tastes do change. There's a whole new generation coming in that have different expectations around food and eating and community. Let's take a look at this. And that's what we should be doing to ourselves too. Wow, yes. That just happened. Like coming on here today, my computer wasn't charging up. Wow, that just happened. What do I need to do to make sure the next podcast runs exactly on time? You know, it's this constant checking in with yourself. How can I better myself? And that's how we grow in our careers, which is amazing. And we have to be brave and courageous to do all these things. So this leads me to my final question here, Kristie, which is, what is the next brave thing that you intend to tackle? What's on your plate right now?
Ooh, that is a great question. I have a lot of things on my plate. But if I was going to say the bigger thing that I'm going to tackle is right now I've got a leadership retreat that is slated to be in Austin, Texas in November. And what I want to do, that'll be my second one. What I want to do after that is springboard and keep doing these large leadership retreats every year. So I would say as far as a larger goal, that's going to be a larger goal. That and making multiple TV appearances on leadership and success and helping people out there with things like adversity or goal setting and things like that. So I kind of double answered your question where it was like, I have two things apparently. So I've got my bigger leadership retreats that I plan to do every year. And then the second is to have more TV appearances and media appearances in the future so people can get this message out, like what we're talking about right here. Right. There's so many people out there that could listen to this message and be like, oh my gosh, yes, that's exactly what I need to get through the day, to move myself up in my career and just shift the mindset just a little bitty bit, right? That's all sometimes we need to do to build that self-awareness, to have that better life, to have that more purpose-driven life where you feel more aligned. Those I think are the two bigger things that I want to do.
Well, they sound amazing. I look forward to checking those out, Kristie. So thank you for sharing that. And thank you so much again for being a guest on today's podcast. We really appreciate you. It's been my absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you also to our listeners for joining us on this episode of Great Work Day, a podcast that's all about gaining more joy and better results in your workplace. We really hope you've enjoyed the conversation today. I am your skills trainer. Your guest is Kristie Stocker, and we hope that you'll check us out on how we could possibly help you grow your career with confidence, capabilities, and the inspirational skills that you need to have a great work day every single day. Check out other podcasts or wherever you listen to them. Look for Great Work Day. Thanks again.